Hey guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a long time. I've been having a cold and it's really hard to do a voiceover with a cold, so I have not been able to do any voiceovers in a while. So I'm so happy I am back. I am strong, I am healthy, and yes, thank God for that. Now, over the past few weeks, I've been showing you guys how to make, an active wear wardrobe. So I've shown you the sports bra, biker shorts, scrunchboard biker shorts, and now this is the sweatshirt. So in this video, I'll be showing you guys how to make this amazing, beautiful sweatshirt that you guys are going to love. It's going to be beginner friendly, DIY, guys. You guys are going to be able to do it no matter what level you are. So yes, let's just get into it. So for this, you're going to be needing your pattern paper, curved ruler, scissors, everything you need to make your work easier. So just grab it and let's get started. Now, the first thing you're going to do is measure your neckline. So at the center front of your paper, measure your neckline. I am using, it's going to be a crew neck. So I'm using 3.5 inches. And I'm now going to go down by 3 inches. So I'm using 3.5 by 3 inches, guys. That's what you should use. Since it's a crew neck, that's what I'm using for my own. Now for my shoulder to shoulder measurement, I'm not going to be using my shoulder to shoulder divided by 2. I'm just going to go straight down on this paper, and that's because I want to have a drop shoulder. So I'm going to just use this entire measurement that I have right here. So here I have 10 inches after my neckline. So do you guys get, after this square that I made for my neckline, there's 10 inches after that. So that will be representing my shoulder plus part of my sleeve. Then I'm now going to go down by 2 inches for my shoulder slope because it's going to be slanted. So go down by 2 inches at that end and slant it from the neckline. So depressed when I can't seem to get out. Now that that is done, I'm going to measure from my shoulder to my bust line. Now I'm not going to be using my main bust line. I'm going to be using 2 inches after that. So I'm going to be measuring 12 inches in my case instead of 10 that I always use. So I'm measuring 12 inches downwards. And then for my waistline, I'm just going to measure down to about, because I don't want it to be on my waist, so it has to go down below my lower waist. And now I'm going to just use a line to rule that line on my bust line. So the next thing I'm going to do is measure my bust circumference divided by 4, and I'm going to add 2 inches to that measurement. Then I'm going to add my seam allowance to it. You can use 1 inch, you can use half an inch if you have a serger. You can, basically use whatever seam allowance you're comfortable with. Now, guys, for the waistline, I'm just going to go straight down from that measurement I made on the bust line down to that waistline. I'm not going to slant it. If you want to slant it, you can slant it by about 2 inches in or 1.5 inches to just make it like a little bit snug at the waist. But I want to go down because I'm going to put my band, and my band is going to do all the snogging it needs to do. So right here, I'm just making my neckline curve. So once I'm done, I'm going to draw that line for my bust to waistline. Now, guys, you're going to take your curved ruler, and from that bust measurement, that measurement you made, you're going to create a slight curve just like I'm doing right here to the shoulder slant. So follow what I'm doing right here, draw it to the shoulder slant, and then I'm going to work on my back neckline. So remember, the front is 3 inches, so the back I'm going to be using 2.5 inches. So that will be the back and the front neckline basically. And I'm just going to write out everything I need to write. Like I always say, write out everything you need to write out on your pattern, and I'm going to cut it out from there. So guys, you'd notice I didn't do any back pattern or front pattern. This is the same pattern you're going to use for your front and your back. So except the neckline, the only different thing is the neckline. So guys, you get, the only different thing with this pattern is the neckline. So make sure you don't forget the neckline is different. So guys, for the sleeve, I'm going to take a paper that is 9 inches by 19 inches. In my case, that's what I have right here. On the sleeve side, that's the hem of this sleeve, the sleeve pattern where you want to be the down part. You're going to measure 7.4 inches. So mark it right there. And then from the top, you're going to go down by 1 inch. So go down by 1 inch and just mark it right there. Now you're going to connect that 1 inch point that I just made to the 7.4 inch on the wrist side. So just connect it right there. I'm using 7.4 because it's actually wide enough to fit anybody's hand. When we put the wrist cuff, it's going to, be snug as you want it to be. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that once I'm in the sewing tutorial, because you can't make it right now. So we're going to learn how to make it later on in this video. And now I'm going to take my curved ruler and I'm going to connect it just like this. So we're connecting it to make it look like, how our sleeve shape used to be. So that curve, that S shape, so this is going to be a slight S, because the one on our pattern, main body pattern, is slight. So this one too has to be slight. So guys, now that I've curved it, I'm going to take my pattern paper and I'm going to measure all around that armhole I have on my main body piece. So whatever I have there, I'm going to measure again from the center front of the sleeve. So from the straight part of the sleeve, you're going to measure what you have till you get to that measurement that you just measured. So can you see here that what I measured on my main body pattern is actually less than what I have right here. So I've marked it and then I'm just going to connect it to join the sleeve slant. So can you guys see? So I'm joining it right here and this is what it looks like now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut it out and then that will be my sleeve pattern.
About the lies you go disperse, you never did shit, I know it hurts. Something deep inside won't let me quit. I swear that I'm inspired by all this shit. Tell me that I can and I won't. That's
Now, if you want a kangaroo pocket, I didn't put one on my own, but I'm going to show you guys how to make the pattern. It's really easy to make when you're making it on your fabric. So I'm just going to be showing you guys the pattern in this video. So I'm going to take a paper that is 8 inches by 10 inches. So 8 inches by 10 inches, that's what you're going to cut out on this paper. And then on one side of the 8 inches, so the 8 inches is going down, the 10 inches should be your width. You're going to mark 1 inch and you're going to draw a line right there. So can you guys see? So the remaining will be 9 inches. Now this 1 inch is when I want to use it for a zip up hoodie. That 1 inch, just fold it in and pretend it's not there. So you're going to have 9 inches remaining. Now guys, on this bottom, you're going to measure 8 inches from this 1 inch point. So 8 inches, you're going to measure it. So measure it and mark it right there. Now you're going to go to the top and you're going to measure 6 inches. So the down is 8 inches, the top is 6 inches. And then from that 8-inch point, you're going to go upwards by 3 inches. And then mark the same 3 inches at the edge of the paper. So can you guys see? So mark it at that edge of the paper right there. That's why you guys need to use this exact measurements I told you guys to cut out for your pattern paper, because that's what I'm using to say these measurements. So now guys, you're now going to connect this new 3-inch mark to the 8-inch point and then connect that 3-inch mark again to the 6-inch point. So it's going to look somewhat like this. And guys, that's all for the kangaroo pocket. That's what you need. So you're just going to cut it out and this is what it's going to look like. So guys, I've added all the seam allowance and everything that needs to be added to this pattern, so you don't need to add any seam allowance to the pocket at all. So when you're cutting it on your fabric, you're going to cut it on a fold if it's a normal sweatshirt you're using. So make sure when you're cutting it on a fold, you fold in that zipper allowance. If not, it's going to be too wide. So fold in that zipper allowance that we made initially in the beginning. So just fold it in and cut your fabric on a fold using that edge. But if you're doing a zip up hoodie, you're going to cut it 2 pieces with that zipper allowance. Now guys, you're going to cut out your fabric. So the front pattern and the back pattern, everything is on a fold. So this is what I've done right here. And then you're going to cut out your sleeve on a fold as well. So using the straight side is going to be on a fold. Now guys, can you see the neckline I was talking about? There's a difference right there. And in my case for my sleeve, I actually used 2 different fabrics. So I cut out 2 pieces, but I made sure I added extra seam allowance on the straight side when I was cutting it, to make sure that I can easily join these 2 pieces together and still have my exact measurement. So right here, I also have this map that I drew. So I drew it and cut it out on straw board. So I have my Africa map. I have different sizes. So this is the medium size that I always use for my sweatshirts. I cut 2 pieces of it, joined it together, and then turned it inside out. That's what I have right here. So you're going to take your main body pieces and place it right sides facing each other and sew it along the shoulder. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Sew it along the shoulder. So guys, right here I've sewn my body together on the shoulders, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my sleeve, and if you're using a sleeve that is folded into two, you're going to look for the center, and then you're going to place it along the center of this body. So the shoulder seam, that's what you're going to do. In my case, it's already obvious, so I'm just going to place it right sides facing each other, just like this. And then I'm going to sew it down right there. So you're sewing it along the armhole. So I'm just going to pin it right here, do it for the second one, sew it down, and then before joining the sides, I'm going to place my African map on the front side and sew it along the edges. So I'm just doing it now to get it out of the way. Now that I've sewn the sleeve to the armhole, this is what it looks like. I'm now going to place it right sides facing again and then sew it along the sleeve. So along the sleeve to the side. So that's what I'm going to do. Along the sleeve to the side, that's what you're going to sew. So can you guys see? Sew it right there using your seam allowance. So guys, to get my wrist cuff, I'm going to measure what I have along the entire wrist. So just like I'm doing right here, measure along all around basically. So I'm going to take a fabric that is 75% of what I have right here. So 75 over 100 times what you have around your wrist cuff. So that's what I'm going to measure as the width of this fabric right here by 6 inches. So the length is 6 inches, so that once I'm done with all my sewing, my cuff is going to be 3 inches long. So guys, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to now fold it right sides facing and sew it down at that edge using 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now guys, please make sure your fabric is stretchy. The fabric you're using for this wrist cuff is stretchy. So use the stretchiest part of your sweatshirt fabric. So that's what I'm using in my case. That's why it's going to be easy for me to sew and wear at the end, because it's going to pull it as I'm wearing it. For the neck cuff as well, you're going to measure all around it, and then you're going to cut out 75% of that measurement. So make sure it's a stretchy fabric, guys. Make sure it's stretchy. So this fabric is by 3 inches. So 75% of what you have around your neck by 3 inches, so that once you're done folding and everything, it's going to be about 1 inch for your neckline, basically for your neck band. And guys, for the hem, I have these 2 pieces of fabric. I'm going to measure what I have all around again and measure a fabric that is 75% of what I have basically. So because I want to have 2 side seams, so I'm cutting out 2 fabrics that I've added 1/2 inch seam allowance to both sides, and then sew it down right there. Now this one is 75% of what you have around the hem by 5 inches. So remember, the wrist cuff is by 6 inches, the neck cuff is by 3 inches, and now this waist cuff is by 5 inches. Guys, I am done sewing it, and this is what it looks like. So I'm going to take my wrist cuff and I'm going to just fold it just like this. So just follow what I'm doing. So fold it into 2 like this, and then place it right sides facing the main sleeve. So I'm just going to turn it inside out so that you guys can see what I'm doing very clearly. So I'm going to place my sleeve inside this cuff, and then I'm going to pin it down right there. So that's why I said you guys should use a stretchy fabric for your wrist cuff. So as you're pinning, you're stretching your cuff to fit the measurement of the main sleeve wrist. So do you guys get? So that's practically what I'm doing right here. I'm stretching it so that it fits, then pin, stretch, pin, stretch, pin. And once I'm done, this is what a rough look of what it would look like. I have done that process for the neck cuff. So that's what I did. Folded it into 2 and then sewed it all around the neck. The same method for the hem as well. Fold it into 2 just like I taught you guys, and then place it all around the hem. So guys, can you see the final look of this wrist cuff? It's actually really nice. Now some people actually add elastic to theirs. I don't want to add any elastic. I think I prefer it like this. But if you want to add an elastic to it, you can actually cut out your elastic and then place it inside, sew it, then finish the open edges. Now guys, do you like my pin cushion? I have a tutorial on it on my channel already. You guys should go check it out. It's amazing, very easy, very beginner friendly. Now back to our sweatshirt. This is what it finally looks like. It's turned out really amazing, really clean. I used my zigzag stitch to finish the edges of the neckline, the wrist cuff, and the hemband. So I used my zigzag stitch. Since I don't have a serger, I use zigzag stitch to finish it, to make it clean. It's amazing, guys. I love it. I love how it's turned out. I love how the Africa map even turned out. It was, giving what it was meant to give, basically. Wow, this is amazing. This is it on my body. Now in this video, you're going to see how I styled it with the sports bra. So you can just tuck it into your sports bra and make it a cropped, sweatshirt basically. And then I also made dickies or fake collar. Like it looks like you're wearing a shirt, and I wore it under this amazing sweatshirt, and it looked really nice, really fabulous. I love it, guys. Please, I'm going to bring out more amazing activewear wardrobe, zip up hoodie, joggers. I'm going to bring out so many things, and you guys should please subscribe to the channel so that you can get notified whenever I post these amazing pieces. Please also like this video, guys. That like button, it really matters a lot. Please like this video, share it in and outside your circle. I'm sure a lot of people in your circle want to learn, beginner friendly ways of making sewing projects and stuff like that. If you have any questions, comment in the comment section. Follow me on Instagram at Lara Savage Creations. Ask me your questions there as well. And until my next video, do have yourself a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are. It's still your favorite content creator and fashion entrepreneur, Lara Savage, signing out.